Don't get burned selling something on eBay. Oh my goodness. This is very heartbreaking, but these 3 bikes I listed on eBay on auction, and they didn't go for even close to half of what I paid for, even less than that, a fraction of the price. So, gonna tell you a couple tips how to sell stuff on eBay and some things that you should really steer clear from after this.
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles.
Welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Hi, I'm Justin the guy. Obviously, I have a garage shop. Taking scary how to use bikes one bike at a time.
If you like these videos, please like and subscribe.
Hello, welcome to I Know a Guy Bicycles, hanging out with the guy. Here's some tips and tricks of selling your bike or other items that you may consider on eBay. I've been on eBay for almost 2 decades now, actually over 2 decades now. I started back in 2001, 2002, selling bike parts, mostly just parts and frames. I used to buy just the bikes and strip them down and sell everything out, and that's usually, I made a little bit of profit. It was a side hustle back then. And I kind of got burned out on it, got kind of burned out on cycling in total, so I kind of jumped careers, and that's a different story, but I revisited coming back to eBay just a few years ago. And I know that I'm using eBay as a selling portal as well as my website and other places like Facebook and Craigslist. So it's just another tool in my toolbox. I was light and polite starting into it, didn't do anything on auction. And the last couple of years, it's like I've been on there selling a few bikes and parts and kind of building up the store, if you will. And I heard from an individual that sells a different kind of product completely not related to bikes. Know your product is one thing, and you're selling portals, and do your research first before selling those bigger ticket items. So you're talking about an item here that allows a couple $100s on. Not good for business, but I wanted to do a test and see if that market or the market is in that auction place to drive sales. And it probably is, I'm sure, in a lot of portals. I did a pretty big risk on these. These are older models, been sitting around for a while, so I figured I'd use that as a test. And test came back and it negative. So here's the thing. I've been using eBay for posting parts and accessories and bikes as buy it now pricing, no auction to it. And that's been pretty, if not really successful. That part is very low maintenance and so forth, and it really is it worked out really well. But the auction bit, this is where it gets really tricky. And I'm going to start working and packing this bike up as I do this video due to the fact that I have to do multitasking to catch up for the losses I just incurred. Anyway, so looking at bikes and auction. If you're going to do an auction, definitely do the minimum bid on it, especially a bigger ticket item. If you have no money invested, like it's just something you just want to get rid of, yeah, that's something to consider. To do as a zero, starting at zero, no minimum bid, that kind of thing. But in this case, you can tell I really took a hit on. And unfortunately, fortunately for the buyer, they're getting one hell of a bike, all tuned up and ready to go. And obviously I will not do this again. So if you're hoping that I'll do this again and be able to score a bike for pennies on a dollar, not gonna happen. Just not sustainable. But anyway, so this is what my takeaway would be. If you're selling a bigger ticket item like a whole bike and so forth, definitely do the buy it now scenario. Start off high, then start bringing the price down. Whoever's been looking at that item will be repaying for a price adjustment, which is a good thing. So it's kind of, and they have their own marketing algorithms and so forth that kind of really push your product out there. And that seems to work fairly well. The auction bit, I went by the suggestion on Sunday night closing at 9 o'clock, that kind of thing. Did all the what you should do. and it still didn't come out to fruition. And this is, when I did this, is in March. So it is in the season. It's not like it was January and it was weird or anything like that. So keep that in mind. If I was gonna do it again, if I needed to get rid of this bike, I would have parted out and sold the parts individually, or got another frame that was more desirable, then did a part swap there. So there's a couple different things to do on that perspective. But in all, I mean, eBay is a great source, don't get me wrong, but you need to learn how to utilize it. And I'm gonna come up with a series of videos of what I've come across that I felt like I kind of got burned on because it was on my own mistakes, burned myself per se, not really understanding, taking those learnings and going forward. And keep in mind, all those things do add up when you're having a negative column, when you're looking at your items, when you're selling stuff on eBay. It's not as cut and dry as some other sources out there. Like Facebook Marketplace is just the 5%. Then you have your shipping and whatever you need to figure out. eBay, there's a higher percentage, and how they equate that number is kind of tricky. It is in there in the fine print, I'm sure, but it's something you really need to know about. It says 13%, but really when it comes out at the end of the day, it's more 15 to 17% of a loss, or actually a cost on selling out items. So, and also shipping on bigger items, you gotta be very careful on as well, because once you hit a certain size, that price doubles to quadruples for shipping. And not just thinking like, oh, you know, it's gonna be like 50 bucks to ship it. And you walk in and they do the calculations, it's $180 to ship it on the slowest boat to wherever it's gonna go. And also know your regions too, where you're shipping to. Is it in the continental United States, is it overseas, all those things, you gotta research those too. But keep in mind, this scenario that I got, I'm gonna take my learnings, and I figured this would be a great opportunity to share those experiences, even though it's my loss. Hopefully I can find some sweetness and find some knowledge there for those out there to learn and to understand the whole eBay ecosystem. And I mean, I'm not a total expert per se, but I can tell you what I do in my lens, in my perspective of bikes and bigger items. It could be very profitable and work out for you, in addition to other tools of selling your items. But anywho, some lucky person's getting this bike, and I hope they really enjoy it, because boy, I put a lot into this one, and it's a beautiful one. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Until next time, from the garage.